Alright, brand new year, brand new travel planning, especially on your card spending. What is the best card to spend for overseas travel? And I'm going to break this video down into two categories. One is your pre-trip expenses and one is your actual trip expenses, because it may vary a little bit different. Now, for context wise, my next trip is going to travel to Bangkok, and this time I'm not going to fly from Singapore airport since I'm already semi-based in Malaysia. I will be flying from Kuala Lumpur KUL to DMK Don Mueang International Airport. So if you're in a similar situation, whether it is a couple trip, it is a friends trip, it is a family trip with kids, or a family trip with parents or parents-in-law, then you may want to watch this video to get some ideas on what is the best way to optimize for travel spending. And if you want to learn more travel strategies and credit card tricks, then come and join us at close to 14,000 members in the Honey Money SG Telegram group. Let's start with the pre-trip expenses, and undoubtedly, these two are going to be your biggest ticket items for the trip. Firstly is your airfare, your flights, and secondly will be your hotels and accommodation. But I think that even before booking your travel, it's very important to know whether the specific platform or website has the right MCC code, or we call it the merchant category code. And usually I will check with Haymax. Is a convenient solution. So Haymax is a convenient website where you just have to type in your merchant name, and then it will show you what is that specific merchant category code and what credit cards are good to use with this merchant. So for example, for my flight, I'm booking under AirAsia, and then I use Haymax website to check whether AirAsia is a good merchant to use for this travel credit cards, and they will give me an options of what credit cards I should use it with. And so I've chosen UOB Ladies card, specifically UOB Ladies Solitaire. But this card, because it gives 6 miles per dollar until the end of March for travel if you have selected travel category like myself. But then since I'm booking AirAsia from a Malaysia website, I have to pay in Malaysian ringgit. So what I do is that I link that UOB Ladies card with the Instagram Amaze. So Instagram Amaze is another card whereby if you link a MasterCard to Instagram Amaze and then you use Amaze card to check out, it will help you reduce that foreign currency fee from 3.25% that's charged by the banks to around 2.5%, which is what Amaze is charging you on the FX foreign currency markup. Then for travel insurance wise, for simplicity, I just bundle in all the travel insurance that came together with that AirAsia flight. So I pay the flight bill together with the insurance. So my insurance is also counted for the 6 miles per dollar since it's just under one transaction. But of course, if you want a more comprehensive travel insurance, then do check out what offers I have listed down here for travel insurance, and then you can get some SingSaver rewards as well. And I heard recently that Haymax also has their in-house rewards as Max Miles if you click through Haymax and buy the travel insurance through the travel insurance partners. Now, if you do not have the UOB Ladies Solitaire, which requires 120,000 annual income, then you may apply for the entry-level 30,000 annual salary UOB Ladies Pink Card. That will also grant you 6 miles per dollar until 31st of March if you have selected travel, but it is only a $1,000 spend cap. I almost forgot to mention that for UOB Ladies Solitaire, the first $3,000 spend cap will be reduced to first $2,000 effective from 1st April onwards. So not only it will be reduced from 6 miles per dollar to 4 miles per dollar, but the spend will also be reduced from 3,000 to 2,000. So for those who are using UOB Ladies Solitaire, do take note of these changes, but there is no change to UOB Ladies Pink Card. Then other credit cards you may want to use for flights are DBS Women's World Card, even though they have reduced that spend cap to $1,500 from the previous $2,000, but $1,500 you can still earn 4 miles per dollar on it, which is quite good. And then there is also HSBC Revolution, where you earn 4 miles per dollar on the first $1,000 spend. So depending on whether the UOB Ladies cap is enough for you, depending on whether you are solitaire or not, then you can also bring in all these substitute travel cards for online travel like DBS Women's World and HSBC Revolution. So the next travel item will be hotels and accommodation. And I think it's slightly different from FS, even though they are lumped under the travel category, because it fundamentally depends on where you are booking your accommodation from. And for my accommodation in Bangkok, I did do a hotel booking under Agoda. And since the transaction currency is in Thai baht, which is a foreign currency, I will choose to use UOB Ladies Solitaire paired with Amaze again, and then I'll use my Amaze card to pay to reduce the foreign currency fee. Of course, if you are paying with Singapore dollars as the transaction currency, it doesn't matter whether you use Amaze or not. But if you are paying in foreign currency, then it's better to use Amaze to reduce the charges. For other credit cards to pay for hotels and accommodation, you can also use DBS Women's World Card, which I already shown you, 4 miles per dollar for online travel. But for HSBC Revolution wise, it's a little bit tricky because they do not include all these third-party hotel booking platforms as well as tour agencies ever since the start of the year. So there's no 4 miles per dollar if you book through these third-party sites like Agoda, Booking and all these things. I do want to talk a bit about the use of cashback cards though, because some of you, maybe you all don't fancy miles credit card. Can you use cashback credit card? I would say yes, because UOB Evo is one of the best cashback cards, right? You get 6.7% for online, but the cap is quite little, because if you just maximize the $20 cashback, you will cap out at around $300, which is not fantastic, because $300 you can barely pay for a flight plus hotel together. But if you just want to hit the minimum spend, or you have multiple UOB Evo cards, then that will make sense if you are a cashback person. For Thailand SIM cards, I think you can buy one through Shopee. I bought from Shopee Malaysia. You can buy it from Shopee Singapore, and make sure you click through Haymax for additional max miles, because if you buy it at the Thailand airport, it is not necessarily cheaper and definitely less convenient if you have to queue. So I guess Thailand SIM cards are quite tourist friendly. All you need to do is just to plug and play, no need to send any message to activate.
Alternative to a local SIM, I can even use my Zim mobile SIM card for Thailand roaming, and I can even get 5G on AIS, one of the fastest providers. So you can sign up for Zim also, so no need to buy SIM card.
I also forgot to mention that the other benefit of Amaze is that it earns you additional 0.5% in Insta points if you make a minimum of 10 Singapore dollars transaction equivalent in foreign currency. So other than reducing the charges, they let you earn extra cashback if for a card link transaction. Of course, if you use the Amaze wallet as the funding source, then it's a little bit different. So yes, if you do not have an Amaze card yet, you can use my referral link and the referral code to get some additional Insta points. And here is a word from the sponsor of today. We are already in the third month of 2024, and if you still haven't started investing, then here is a good reason to start using Webull. Moneybull is a wealth management tool designed for margin accounts to earn a yield on idle cash while maintaining liquidity and relatively low fees. Now, in order for your funds to auto-subscribe to Moneybull, there is a criteria. Your Webull account needs to have at least $10 or 10 Singapore dollars for the auto-subscription by Moneybull to take place. And the good thing about Moneybull is that you can continue to use your Webull account to trade even though your funds are in Moneybull, because 99% of the market value of your Moneybull position will be added to your buying power for trading purposes. The funds from your Moneybull positions will be auto-redeemed when you do not have sufficient cash to settle your trades. Then the next question is, how do you even activate Moneybull? On your registration, remember to select margin account, because only margin account can activate Moneybull. And to activate, go to Markets, Discover, Moneybull icon, then activate USD or SGD cash fund. Once activated, your idle cash will be subscribed to the USD or SGD cash fund depending on the currency that you hold on the next work day. So for SGD currency, it is 7:30 SG time, and for USD currency, it is 9:30 SG time. If you are new to Webull, there is also very attractive rewards for Moneybull, and this time the rewards comes in 3 tiers. First tier being $80 of Nvidia shares. When you activate and subscribe at least $2,000 to Moneybull, fulfill the requirements and maintain till 30th of April 2024. For the second tier, you'll get $3,000 of Nvidia shares when you activate and subscribe to a minimum of $100,000 to Moneybull, fulfill the requirements and maintain till 28 February 2025. And lastly, the final tier, you'll get $5,000 of Nvidia shares when you activate and subscribe a minimum of $250,000 to Moneybull, fulfill the requirements and maintain till 28 February 2025. Now, other than the Moneybull promo, there are 2 more promos that you may enjoy. Firstly, the Fun and Trade promo, where if you do an initial funding of $500 or more, you get 5 free fractional shares of Nvidia from $10 to $500. And then if you complete 5 buy trades, you get additional US stock trading vouchers as well as options trading vouchers. For the shares transfer in promo, transfer in a minimum of $5,000 worth of shares into Webull, and you can get up to $3,000 of Nvidia shares when you fulfill the requirements. So wait no more, use my referral link down below or scan the QR code right here to get your Webull account today. Alright, so here is the second part of the video, the actual trip. So before you land at your destination, I think some of you have to go and apply for some of these credit cards that give priority pass membership, because it will grant you 2 complimentary visits at least, and you don't even have to pay, you know. For example, I am a card holder of City Premium Miles, DBS Altitude, Amex High Flyer, as well as DBS Vantage. So all of this comes with complimentary priority pass membership, and then I can bring myself, my family and my guests together into the airport lounge. If you just want a free option, then you can just apply for the City Premium Miles and the DBS Altitude. These 2 credit cards do not need to pay any annual fee, and they are entry level, which means you only need $30,000 of annual salary to qualify for the sign up. Then for mode of payment at the holiday destination, I do have 2 options for card. Firstly is my UOB Evo, and you will be quite surprised. Why am I using UOB Evo? It's because my UOB Evo for mobile contactless, the transaction volume is quite low. So even if I use overseas, at least I can use that card to hit the minimum spend, at least for the mobile contactless portion. Then for online is another thing. So even though banks charge 3.25% fee, I know it's a very high markup, but it is used to hit the minimum spend. It is not really to optimize the rewards. And the reason is because I need to clock that UOB1 account interest anyway. But if I were to spend at a specialized category like travel or dining merchant, I would then use my UOB Ladies Solitaire with Instagram Amaze. Because like I said, right, Amaze will reduce a foreign currency markup to 2.5%, which is much lesser than the 3.25%. For smaller shops and night market stores, I don't think you can use credit card there. So what I did was that I exchanged my Singapore dollars currency to Thai baht back in Singapore, mainly for the convenience factor. And I'm not going to withdraw any cash from Thailand ATMs despite having the multi-currency wallets, because they're going to charge around a 200 Thai baht ATM withdrawal fee, unlike some other countries. But what I would do is that I'll bring some additional Singapore dollars with me, because if I really want to do foreign currency for additional cash, then at least I can use this Singapore dollars to exchange at Thailand money changes. And you realize that iChange is not even in the picture, because firstly, I'm not going to withdraw any cash from Thailand ATMs, and secondly, if the merchant accepts Visa or MasterCard, I'm also not going to use the iChange card for it, because I'm already using my credit cards as a form of rewards or cashback. So one thing I really want to clarify for Amaze is that Amaze is really only good if you're linking the Amaze card to at least a 4 mile per dollar credit card like Citi Rewards or UOB Ladies. Otherwise, the 2.5% FX markup is not going to make any sense, because a lot of people always complain about the poor exchange rates charged by Amaze via card link transaction. But by charging that 2.5% markup, did you realize that you also gain the additional 4 to 6 mile per dollar, as well as any additional Insta points that you may earn from that transaction? So you have to balance the pros and cons, see which one suits you better in the overall net positive result. But if you're not using all these 4 mile per dollar cards, then at least you can use some other multi-currency wallets like Pretrip, Trust, Wise, or even the less known options like FSMOne debit card or the Tiger Boss debit card, which I think is getting increasingly popular because many of us are not really well versed in all these credit card rewards, which is why you have to look through my channel for the credit card content. And like I said, if you're really not a fan of credit cards, you just want a multi-currency wallet with the lowest fees, then I can put you to this video on Pretrip versus Trust. Which one is a better option for overseas travel?